All right, guys, today I actually wanted to tell you a quick story and some information you might need if you're having your windshield replaced in your Honda Ridgeline. So for me, I have a lifted truck. We have a Traxxas 3.5-inch lift kit on our 21 Honda Ridgeline. This is an RTL model. But either way, we do have the controls for lane keep assist as well as adaptive cruise in this model. And some of the things that I this is going to just be a walkthrough of some of the things I ran into when having a new windshield installed. I had Safelite do it, and this is the story. So things to note that they initially told me, hey, it's going to be about 2 to 3 hours because we have a 2-step calibration process for your vehicle because of the adaptive cruise and the radar, and all those things have to play well together. And I said, okay, yeah, no problem. So they pulled the truck back, took a look at it, and said, hey, your truck's lifted and it has bigger tires on it. I said, yes, it does. And they said, well, we're not going to be able to do the calibration, but the dealer might be able to do the calibration for you later. Now, I've had one other person contact me about this, and I do believe that they were not able to have the dealer calibrate. So I said, no big deal, go ahead and continue on. And my insurance would not cover an OEM windshield, so I said, give me the equivalent aftermarket. They came back and said, hey, if we don't put a Honda OEM windshield in your vehicle, Honda might not calibrate it, or just say, hey, you don't have OEM glass, sorry, we can't calibrate. And I said, well, knowing that they're probably not going to be able to calibrate it anyways, let's just go ahead with the non-OEM glass. And so right now, the way the truck sits, it is non-OEM glass. It has not been calibrated. And the system, an important note that the tech said that when they hook up to it with their tablet to program, they didn't even bother to do that, because if they had, it would have kicked the system into calibration mode, which means I would have had to sit in the truck and stare at a lane keep assist light for quite some time, which is not desirable in any way. I don't want to sit and stare at that. So I'm really glad the techs did not hook up anything to the truck when they were replacing the windshield. They just swapped the windshield out and moved on. And ultimately, I can still use adaptive cruise. I can still use my lane keep assist. All of those things seem to work very well, or well, they work as good as they did before the windshield. There has been no difference. So when you're getting your windshield replaced in your truck, you need to make sure that they don't hook up any calibration software to it, because that's going to be a thing that's going to mess you up. And honestly, if you do have OEM glass, as far as I know, Honda is going to tell you your truck's too high off the ground anyways, and ask you to find a way to bring it back down so that way they can calibrate it. Now, if you do have your camera system go bad and you have to have that replaced, then you're going to have to figure out a way to maybe go to some little tiny clown tires or something like that to get it to the correct height, so that way you can have that system calibrated. Thankfully, that wasn't the case here, but things to note just when you're going through that process is they're making the statement of Honda's going to want to have OEM glass, and that if you don't have OEM glass, Honda can't calibrate it, and Safelite's not going to calibrate it either. So I had to basically sign a couple waivers saying, yes, I understand you're not going to calibrate it, and I also had to sign another waiver that said, I understand that I have agreed to non-OEM glass, therefore, if I go to the dealership to have it recalibrated, it is not going to be, and they turn me down, I can't come back to Safelite and say, hey, look, I need you to put the wrong windshield in. Which obviously I'm not super worried about it. It's probably going to get broken again anyways, just based on the road trips and things that we do with the truck. But something to note, if you're going to lift your Honda and you have all your adaptive cruise, which pretty much every one of them does at this point, just something to note is that you're going to have, you may get into some issues during calibration if for any reason that system fails. If not, then you kind of have to hope that when you do get a windshield replacement, everything goes smoothly. In this case, it went smoothly for me, but I just wanted to share with everybody because I have had a few people reach out to me and ask me questions like this, and so now I've finally gone through the experience myself, The windshield took maybe an hour to do, like a standard windshield would take, and so far, so good. Everything's been working well, and maybe I'll check in and give an update later on. But either way, things to think about when lifting your Honda and having to get a new windshield. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.